Hello, I'm Darren Crapo, and welcome to this edition of UFO Planet. On today's program, we're going to be taking a trip to Atlanta, Georgia. We're also going to go to Russia, to Canada, and best of all, we have part 2 of our interview with Kosta Makreas, the co-founder of ET.letstalk.org. All that's going to get started in about 30 seconds, but first, check out some of the clips that you're going to see on today's show.
Of ET.letstalk.org, I would say about last November. I had already built up.
Well, welcome to the program. As I mentioned before, I just want to say thank you to the many dozens of you that sent emails over the past week while we were undergoing flooding here in Alberta. I actually have a clip that I'm going to play at the end of the program to show you some of what we were dealing with here. I think you'll be surprised. But first, we're going to head off to Atlanta, Georgia. We're going to take a look at a couple of objects moving across the sky. We're just going to get this clip started. This was recorded on June 24th, so they actually went across the sky there already. So let's take a look at this in slow motion because they're moving fast. Continuous replays getting slower and slower each time so we can have a really good look at this object. Very interesting. 2 objects together side by side. I looked at this initially and I wondered if they were maybe aircraft like jet fighters, but I think they're going pretty fast. Very interesting unidentified flying objects, no doubt about it. In some replays of the original motion here, you can see how fast they're moving. Whatever we're looking at there, it's moving fast. At least I think so anyway. Next, we're going to take a look at a very similar type of an object, but this is recorded over Russia. And this is an object that starts out as one object, but turns into 2. Check it out. So there we have the object up in the sky there. Now it looks like an individual light or object or some sort of item up in the sky there. But a little bit further into the video here, it actually splits into 2. And there we go. One goes one way and one goes the other. This was published on June 19th, 2013. Sent to us by our researcher Gavin Fry in the United Kingdom. In the super slow motion here, we can see that there's a clear split of that object up in the sky. I don't know if any of you out there can explain that one, but I certainly can't. I thought it was very interesting to look at. Next, we're going to take a look at a vintage flying saucer video. This was actually recorded in 2007, but it was only published recently. Check it out.
Oh. C'è? Sì, quelli dell'anno scorso. Guardalo.
Bello, Anto.
Zitta, piano.
Punti di riferimento.
Punti di riferimento, la sega, punti di riferimento.
Che bello,
Ferma, aspetta. Ecco, aspetta, guarda.
No,
Guarda da vicino, corri.
No. Ma quanto è grande?
Corri, vai giù a sentire, vai giù dalla nonna, corri. Corri! Se ne va! Cazzo! Se ne va! Corri, vai a sentire, vai giù dalla nonna, corri. Corri! Se ne va! Cazzo.
Well, that's very interesting. A vintage UFO video shot in 2007. So you're fairly assured that that was shot using an old analog camera as opposed to a digital camera there. So that was very interesting. What do you think of that? I always like to show videos like that right before the comments section because I know I'm going to get a lot of comments. And here's what you had to say on the last episode of UFO Planet. Well, that's very interesting. I also want to mention that I received a comment this week, an email actually, from a viewer that criticized me for smiling too much. And I just want to respond to that by saying, I live in Canada. I'm not sure where you're from, but here we have a whole lot to smile about. That's just the way I am. I like to smile. Sorry if that offends you. Oh, that was stunning. Anyway, let's move on here. We're going to go on now to a UFO shot over Canada that appears to be morphing. Now, this video is actually about 10 minutes long, the original. And you can go, I'm going to tell you the name of the channel after we watch the video, so you can go watch the entire video. But for now, you're going to see about a minute and a half of a UFO morphing over Canada. Let's get this going now.
No, it's gone.
What?
It's gone. Yeah, it's gone.
Oh, it's going.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Hold on.
It's going.
There. There.
Yeah, you're on it.
What the hell, man?
Joel, what is that?
I don't know. Honey, seriously, come here.
The fuck is that? I told you there
You
was
should
lights.
see this, mommy.
I told you there was
No,
lights.
you need to come here, honey. Hey, sissy, what the
What
hell?
the heck is that?
Come here, quick. Don't bump me, though, because I'm holding it.
Oh, shit, Joel, don't lose it. Don't lose it. Keep it straight.
I'm trying to.
Holy shit.
It's gone.
Oh my god.
What? I can't. I'm not.
What the frick is that?
Look, look, look.
Look, Tony, look.
What the heck
Just
is
count
that?
from there and just
I can't stop moving. Hold on.
What is it? What is it? It's a red ball. Complete red ball.
No, it's not a red.
I don't see it.
No, it's
We
not.
don't see it now, but if you look on Joel's camera, yeah.
Yeah.
Where is it? I want to see. I can't see.
They're moving. It's
Oh,
moving. It's totally going around.
Yeah, it's holy. What the?
Bella.
Tony, you see it?
Yeah, but I can't
Holy
see it
crap.
over
No,
here.
Isaac.
I don't see it over there either.
But I can see it before.
Holy crap.
Don't
Don't move me.
just look here. Try to.
Oi, Linda, aqui, senta. Vou passar lá, Linda.
Well, I suppose now's not a good time to tell you that there's some F-bombs in that video and to warn you about them. I apologize for that. This week with the flooding and the state of emergency that we're in here and the natural disaster, it has consumed enormous amounts of my time. And unfortunately, I just didn't have time to spend editing the audio as well on that clip, and I apologize. Should have warned you beforehand. Well, now let's move on here. We're going to take and look at our new website. Our new website is now running on the internet. Here's what it looks like, considerably different and much more powerful. Now You can report UFO sightings to UFO Planet right from our website, and that includes the ability to send us videos and photos right from the form on our site. So if you have an experience or a clip, make sure you share it there. Also, we now have forums on the site as well. So here we can all gather as a community interested in ufology and the paranormal and discuss our interests there together. And I've made it easy to become a member of the site. You log in using Facebook. In fact, that's the only way you can currently log in. I have my username covered up there because that's my personal Facebook there. But you can see how quick and easy, and it logs you in, gets rid of the Facebook button. If you want to log in, you just log out. You just scroll down to the bottom of the page and you can log out there. But once you log in using Facebook, you can access the forums to post something in the forums. And there's also going to be a news feed in there that is member specific only. So there's a ton of changes on our website. We have a new host, new site, a whole lot of new things. And that's how we're ending off year one. This is actually the final episode in the first year of UFO Planet. So new website is how we're going to celebrate that today. Next, we're going to move on to our interview with Kosta. Kosta Makreas is the co-founder of etletstalk.org. Then now etletstalk.org, as many of you know, was featured in the Sirius documentary. Let's take a look and see what Kosta has to say. That's awful good news. That's exactly what I want to hear. I'd like to move on and talk about your other organization that you belong to that's very associated with this, which is etletstalk.org. Now, can you tell us about when you started it and why you started it?
That's a good question. And my partners, Jonathan and Lori from Toronto, some of your countrymen, the three of us started as co-founders of etletstalk.org, I would say about last November. I had already built up, prior to that, these global CE5 monthly events where we, as I mentioned before, coordinated every month. So we had a certain amount of momentum of people all over the world. And so we turned it into a website where we could have a social community, a place for those people to go onto forums, to find each other, to tell their stories, to feel safe and secure about telling their stories and being themselves, because many people, don't want to talk to their spouses or to their co-workers or to family members sometimes about experiences they've had. So etletstalk.org is that place that we built last November, and we've been growing it since then. We have more than 3,000 members now in more than 50 countries. Excellent. who join there. And
now, can I just interject here, talking about the multiple countries? You have an interactive community map on your site. Can you tell us how that works?
Yeah, absolutely. The members who are paid members there, and it's very inexpensive to join the site, are able to place themselves on this community map. And much like you would look like at a Google map, and you're able to scroll it back and forth, when you're getting directions to somewhere, the map is like that, and will show you in any country how many, roughly in different areas, how many people have signed on that you haven't met yet. You can zoom down with the map to a level of your city, and you can see in neighboring cities or within your own city the emails of other people who have placed themselves there. And it's just a wonderful tool for finding those with similar interests, because people tell me all the time, I feel so alone, there's no one in my city to do this with. Well, the map now allows people to find not only those around them, but anywhere in the world. You can make friends everywhere, and the sense of community that is engendered that way is just such a spiritual uplift for people to know that they can make friends and talk about all this and actually meet physically if these friends are found in neighboring towns.
It's amazing that we live in such a wonderful time with the internet. It's really changed everything when it comes to ET and ufology and exploration of all of the above, hasn't it?
But I have done this 15 years ago with an interactive map like that? No. Before email was invented, I couldn't have done this. But like I said, in ET Let's Talk, we built a community of more than 3,000 people in just a few months, and we're growing it every day now.
So can you tell me, Kosta, how did your organization come to be featured in Sirius?
That was through my knowing Dr. Greer and having volunteered for him for a number of years before forming etletstalk.org, and through helping to do some fundraising for Sirius online with the community that we had. We were invited by the director and the lead producer of Sirius, Amardeep Kalika and J.D. Seraphine, to put a little segment in there because they wanted to highlight the fact that people who had been inspired by Dr. Greer's vision of citizen ambassadors to the stars were actually organizing and doing something about it, going out in the field and having their own experiences rather than relying on a government telling them what to believe or some research or whatever. No, this is all very direct stuff. So it was very empowering, and being in the movie and being able to even briefly talk about all our groups out there caused a lot of people to come to our website and say, hey, I want to do this. Can you teach me how? And we said, sure. And can you hook us up? Yes, we can. So that's how it came about in a nutshell.
Interesting.
And it served us well since.
So what was it like, your involvement in the movie? Has it been a positive experience for you and a positive experience for your organization?
Oh, absolutely. I started getting recognized in different places, even at the local store where some young guy who probably saw Sirius, they say, weren't you in this movie? You know, I mean, that's just on the personal level, something I get a kick out of. But,
For sure.
but more seriously, it has had a positive impact. The movie is still gaining traction and being broadcast or rather translated into other languages with subtitles. So we expect that more people will see the URL because the ARM and JD were so very kind to put the URL of our website, etletstalk.org, near my face when I spoke in the movie, and that way people have been coming and will continue to come and join the community and start having experiences of their own. So yeah, it's been pretty positive. And the fact I'm doing an interview with you now, I've been doing a lot of that too, as people are seeking to learn more about, well, who are you and why are you doing this? And I have a short answer, which is the governments haven't done it. The governments have done the the hiding, the cover-up, and they haven't gone far enough and fast enough for a lot of us to reveal what we've all known, that the ET civilizations are here. They're benevolent. They want to work with us. So we citizens are taking this into our own hands now. It's a people-powered movement, and bypassing governments and finding that we have a lot in common in our desire to make this connection. And it's just going to keep growing. We're on the vanguard of this citizens movement.
Well, that's excellent. And who knows, maybe the NSA is watching us right now.
They've been watching of us for more than
I'll
10
take
years.
my viewers. If they want to add a couple of hits, that's great. I also wanted to touch on Kosta, that you were down at the Citizens Hearing in D.C., Citizens Hearing earlier in D.C. this spring. And how was the hearing relevant to what you do at your etletstalk.org site?
Well, even though I was just an observer and I wasn't part of the hearing in any way, giving testimony, it's relevant because I was able to make connections with people who have been long-time and respected researchers in the UFO field, people who were actually interviewed by the politicians there. And by making these connections, we just tried to let them know that all the theoretical research and that has been done, all the books that have been written, the lectures, are something that we're now putting in practice. There's a group, there's our network out there that's actually going in the field and initiating this contact, so that it's no longer theory or research or fact gathering in a theoretical manner. It winds up being experiences that people have. And I should mention that every month after we do our monthly Global CE5 contact, people write back and they post on the forum on our website what they've experienced. So this serves to inspire and educate the rest of the community as they read the great variety of experiences people have had. And some of them are just amazing, on the ground and in the sky. So the citizen hearing was very relevant to what we do. We believe we're the next wave. People have been talking for many decades. Are they here? Are they not? They've been covered up. And we are the next wave now, going out and saying, that's fine and proper. Now we're going to find out for ourselves because we know how.
Okay, what do you think that this is going to do for I guess the progression of the UFO world here? Now, you take a look at over the last number of years, the numbers of people that are interested in it have seemed to skyrocket. Mm-hmm. Do you think that is a lot to do with, say, events that are being held like the Disclosure Project and documentaries created like Sirius? Are these helping to bring people's interest? Has the interest always been there and it's just coming together under an easy to identify umbrella now?
Well, it's definitely coming together because obviously the internet and the media, with people being able to grab their own video camera and not rely on a $100 million movie, there's crap out there, and then there's enlightening stuff out there. But it's all out there, and it just serves to spark the interest. So, yeah, the volume of interest has grown. I don't think it may have been something people never thought about before, but now it's so overwhelming there that everybody, I think, knows somebody who's had an experience or who's open-minded enough to talk about it. You don't have to go to some far-off town into some secret group to find this interest here. And that just serves to ignite the spark in every person. Now, where will that go? I'll tell you something. Some of the communications we've had from the ETs directly, they have asked us to increase our groups as soon as possible, in as many places as possible, and in as great a numbers as we can, because it's time now for the paradigm to shift. It's time for the cover-up to be over. And as we citizens increase our numbers, the ETs are able to show themselves even more, which results in more humans seeing them and wanting to contact. It becomes kind of a virtuous circle. I believe it will lead to first open contact, certainly by the time my lifetime is over, and hopefully a whole lot sooner than that. Because a lot of people are ready for this, and a lot aren't, and some are scared. But once we get the Hollywood BS out of their minds, and they can see that free energy is coming with the technologies that the ETs have to show us, there may be cures for diseases that we never thought possible. Again, the free energy. Just imagine how this affects a person in their everyday life. They may say, well, I know they're out there, but how it doesn't affect me. I have to work my job, educate my kids, pay my bills. How does that affect me? Well, it affects people very, very intimately and a lot. If you had free energy, guess what? You could power your home, your car, your factory, your city, your country for free, forever, without polluting. Imagine that. No more wars, poverty. And I know I'm drawing a really huge, big picture there. It wouldn't happen overnight.
Well, yeah, it probably. But
transitions.
let me pose this to you. Do you think if it were to happen, that contact were to be made, that maybe there wouldn't be the need for all the armies and the rumors of wars and the catastrophes that we create ourselves as human beings and things like that? Do you think that would go away if we found out for absolute sure that there were others and they were here visiting regularly? If it was concrete?
Oh, I think that would be the start, but it's not only that, being given an example of other civilizations that have learned to get along, but also, again, it's the technology they bring. How many wars are fought over what we deem scarce resources? How many countries have you known lately that have invaded other countries for their oil? Gee, I think I live in one. Who's done that. And it just goes on ad nauseum. Human beings have always fought over resources that they considered scarce and limited. Free energy would be a huge step. I'm not saying it's the only one, but it would remove a huge cause for having to go to war, for having an economic system that relies on expendable fuels, fossil fuels, on nuclear and all these. None of those would be necessary. Imagine the human hours that would be freed up for ordinary people to follow their passions. If they're not working 40 hours a week to light their home, to have their food grown by fossil fuels, they're freed up with this limitless energy to let their spirits soar, to let their creative talents get developed. Who needs a 40-hour work week? I mean, I'm not sure how it'll turn out, but we'll probably have to work a whole lot less and be able to create a whole lot more. And I'm sure there are a lot of people that would sign on with that.
Oh, I think you'd have people signing on in droves. Now, you touched there that oil is the cause of a lot of wars, and there are a lot of people that would agree with you there. But one of the other causes is religion. What kind of effect do you think it would have on the world of religion?
I think it would be profound, depending on the religion or the sect and how they view other life in the universe. It can come as a total shock, as a total denial, or an open embrace. I will say that recently, I don't have the name, but one of the top people at the Vatican basically said that it is the policy now that they believe there is life in the rest of the universe. And that they are our brothers and sisters. That's profound and ground shaking for the Catholic faith to say that, because of the millions and millions of followers there. I can't speak as much for other religions because I'm not as familiar with them, but each of them will have to grapple with this. Where does other life fit into their templates of what they're believing, of what they're telling people? Some people say that religions are big control mechanisms, and to some extent, I believe that too. And they will have to open up and realize that they are not the prime center of the universe. There is other life, and that other life probably also worships, not worship, I don't even know the word, but acknowledges and works with a creator, with a supreme being of some sort. So it's going to open our minds, and it just depends on how closed the mind is as to how much pain there will be, to accept other life forms.
It will certainly be very interesting to see, nonetheless. Now, I just want to ask you, Kosta, what's your future going to lead for you and for ETLetsTalk.org? Where are you heading in the future?
We're trying to increase our contact teams, as many as we can. So that means doing interviews like with you and other programs. So we invite people everywhere to come to ETLetsTalk.org, sign up, and learn how to make contact, join the community. We will be holding more webinars and teleconferences where we will feature leading people in the field that we think will inspire people who are new to the field and inspire even the people who've been around a while. These types of things. We just want to grow the participation of folks. It's all about numbers. This is a very simple proposition. We're not about rocket science, ET science. We just want people to know that the power is in the simple person here. You don't need millions of dollars. You need just a little bit of time, a pure, peaceful heart, goodwill, pure intention to make this communication, this contact, and you will.
And so you're saying basically anybody can participate?
Anybody who wants to set aside fear, skepticism, and hostility, those won't work. So I want to give that as a caveat. I don't think the ETs will want to engage with that, but there are certainly enough
Understandable.
people. And I know I wouldn't if I were in their position.
Exactly. Well, I thank you very much for participating in UFO Planet today, and wish you all the best. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for the opportunity. Take care.
Take care. Well, that was a very interesting interview, Kosta. I appreciated you being on the program very much. As well, Kosta was one of the many who emailed me in the last few days wishing me well during the natural disaster happening here in southern Alberta. Speaking of that natural disaster that has consumed so much of my time that I was unable to do a program on Monday, not because I'm where the water is, but because I also own and operate Alberta Police Report, which became a very integrated tool in disseminating the information to those affected by the natural disaster, which I will mention is the worst that we have ever seen here in Alberta. I have a clip here to play for you today to show you what we went through here, or what we've been going through here in Alberta. The first part of the clip is the Bassano Dam, which is about 50 kilometers from where I am right now. Now, if that dam were to burst, I would be in trouble. And then you're going to see clips from High River, a community here in Alberta that was completely underwater. And then we're going to go on to Medicine Hat, which is also a location of 4U2 CTV. So here's the clip that I shot in the last few days around southern Alberta.
In CFS, cubic feet per second, we saw probably 147 to 150,000. Last night about 5, and I'm thinking we're still near those. We're probably in that 140,000, which would be in cubic meters, somewhere in the neighborhood.
How much do it normally flow like without the flood season?
We had 9,000 CFS before, so that, that's kind of average. Oh, yeah, we're looking at probably 5 times more. Easy.
5 times the
Well,
whole
5 times 9,000 maybe. 9,000 CFS. Well, got 24 gates, 22 are operational. One other thing that we're concerned about the Crowfoot Ferry. They never got it out of the water.
Now you're looking at video here from the city of Medicine Hat. The city of Medicine Hat is located 100 kilometers east of Brooks, Alberta, where UFO Planet is recorded. And this is an area of the city called the Flats. It's down in the low-lying area and was flooded out last time in 2005. They expected much worse this year. But when you're under that much water, it's always bad. Now this you're looking at is High River, Alberta, appropriately named High River. The entire community of 14,000 was flooded and has been evacuated and will remain evacuated for many days or even possibly weeks to come. There's how deep the water is in the neighborhoods in that community. Again, I want to say thanks to the many who sent emails. There was a lot of people who were touched by that, including one of my closest friends who lives right on the river in Medicine Hat and is still evacuated from his home, and it was flooded. And many friends and family across Alberta. At the peak of the disaster, more than 100,000 people had to be evacuated from their homes. And just earlier this afternoon, the state of emergency was extended for another 7 days in this area, so that there's still a lot to happen here, and my condolences to all of those here in southern Alberta and anywhere in the world who are hurting because of natural disasters. Now, I just want to mention a couple of things in closing here today. The closed captions, I've had many requests to continue on with the closed captioning of the program. I haven't closed captioned the last few programs simply due to the lack of time. Also, I would like to thank everyone for their emails. I appreciate that very much. And I also want to welcome the NSA to viewership of the program. Apparently, they're watching everything we do outside the United States, so we'll take our viewers where we can get them. Welcome, NSA. Also, if there's anyone out there who would like to be on the program to discuss demons. A lot of people tell me that these UFOs are actually demons, but so far no one's offered to come on the program to explain that to me. I'd like to have someone on. So if you have, go to our website and fill out the encounter form there, and that'll send our researchers an email, and we'll get you on the program to discuss why you think UFOs are demons. Also, just want to remind everyone to go to the website, check out our new forums, sign up, get a membership there. They're free, and start participating in our site. There's going to be a lot more happening there right away. Well, I've said enough, and I'm already over time. So, again, thanks so much for watching UFO Planet. The next program is scheduled to air July 1st. Now, I'm not particularly sure if time is going to permit. That's a pretty interesting day for me. It's my 50th birthday, also my twin brother's 50th birthday, and also it's Canada's birthday. That's July 1st. So we'll see what happens. Thanks for tuning in, and check on the website. I'll tell you there when the next program's coming. Thanks again for watching. I'm Darren Crapo, and this is UFO Planet. Until next time, take care.